Hello, Jamie from Inky&Scrappy, sharing with you today some distress mica spray stain backgrounds and using some positives from those negative card fronts that I did for my Brewing Up Creativity class back in May. I don't think I included this one in that video. If I did, well, I probably knew what I was doing way better back then than I do now. So the butterflies were actually cut from just some white heavy cardstock. I will say it was probably Nina Classic Craft Solar White 110-pound cardstock, so it's super thick. If you want to know, it's probably in that other video because these were just the negatives, so I didn't want to throw them away. They were gorgeous. We did end up doing them in class. We took the negative piece or the positive pieces and made similar card fronts. We didn't do them like this. We did it with the gelatos and kind of played with them a little bit. Anyways, so once I have my butterflies colored, I had to figure out what I was actually going to do. Yeah, it was one of those days. Oh, so I am using some, I want to say some watercolor cardstock from Ranger. So Ranger Distress Watercolor cardstock. And I hadn't really decided where I was going with this one. I was kind of thinking of putting this on the front and then going with the butterflies on top and on bottom. I ended up changing my mind and going with the same similar layout as I did for my cards for class. So I am going to stamp my sentiment here on the bottom with some VersaFine Onyx black ink and then put some clear embossing powder on top, and then I will heat set that. This will make sure that it's going to stay because I knew I was going to do some form of mixed media on this one, and by doing that part first, I knew that I could work around it. I kind of gave myself a limit, I guess, but keeping it on the bottom and then of course using that clear embossing powder will kind of seal it in so I don't have to worry about it moving depending upon what I decided to do. So I did end up grabbing some mica spray stains, and then I do believe I grabbed black soot distress spray stain there. So I started with the black soot, and then of course none of my mica spray stains are actually open because that would have required me to use them already. So I'm just bringing in a couple of blue shades here. I don't know which ones I grabbed. I grabbed multiples of them. So I just kind of pulled out some of the darker blues, some of the lighter blues. Of course, I have that black soot in there. So I just needed to kind of play with it a little bit. So I'm just adding a little bit of water. I don't want to add too much. I kind of want to keep it controlled. I kind of want to keep it off of my sentiment on the bottom there. I am going to bring in, this is, I want to say it's like a hairdryer curler thing. I don't know. Tiffany Soroso uses it. It's kind of cool. It's not a heat gun. It's more like a hairdryer. So I am going to pick up a little bit off of the top of this one just to kind of, I don't want to say make it dry faster, but smush it, dry it a little bit faster. I was going for quick and easy on this one. So I just kind of do this a couple of times, get it to dry, and once it dries you really see that mica sparkle in there way better than when it's wet and moving. I also brought in some pink because if you remember I added some pink onto my butterfly wings, and so I wanted them to kind of have, I wanted this to kind of go with it a little bit. So I brought in that pink. I want to say, is this one Shiny Bauble? Maybe the blue one Shiny Bauble. I don't remember. This pink one is from one of the winter ones. I don't remember which one it's called. Anyways, I'm just going to splatter this one on. So just pulling it off of it and then just using the actual, the inside piece to just kind of spray on top of it. And this is where I'm going to tell you, this was the inspiration to start me on my Galaxy cards with the Kylie from Ink Road Stamps. I think that one went up in June. That one might have even gone up in May. June was a busy month. I don't really know where I was at for a lot of it and the end of May. Between fieldwork and graduation party, scrapbooking and all of the other things, you know, it all just kind of got lost in the shuffle. And so this was my second background. I didn't actually end up using this one. I think this one is actually still sitting on my desk or next to my desk to actually use. So I should probably put something on this one. It's pretty glitzy and glittery and all of the things. Yes, it is still sitting on the little shelf next to my desk. I just looked. Now I have to figure out what I'm going to put on it. It would be really pretty with just a word sentiment die. Ooh, I have a unicorn head I could throw on there. That would be cute. Like a die cut? I want to do a black unicorn, and now I'm just babbling, so don't mind me. But that is my second background that I created, kind of using the first one. It's just kind of, you know, I love doing multiples sometimes. So I am going to use that first stamp that I had picked out and just stamp that onto the inside of my card front here, or card base. Oy, oy, oy. So I'm going to stamp that onto my card base here, set that one off to the side, and then of course I am going to bring back in my card front here. So I'm trying to let it dry a little bit before I close because of course that VersaFine takes a little bit of time because it is of course a pigment. So I'm going to glue my card front on here. So the sentiment on this one comes from Trinity Stamps. It's their Sympathy Chat. I think it's Sympathy Chatter or something like that. It is probably one of my favorite Sympathy stamp sets. I just love the sayings in it. And some of them, they don't all have to be sympathy. This one is just praying for strength for today and hope for tomorrow. So it's just a nice, I don't know, general one, I guess. It's not necessarily sympathy. It's just kind of a thinking of you and praying for you one. So I did bring in some alcohol markers just to add in black for my little butterfly bodies. And then I'm just adding glue onto that butterfly body part because I want to be able to lift. I want the wings to be lifted or to, you know, pop up a little bit. Granted, when they are getting mailed, they're going to end up going flat, but I'm hoping that once they come out, they will kind of puff up just a little bit. It adds just a little bit of dimension, but it nails very well. And yes, I did not actually take pictures. So there's the snapshot for you. I hope you guys have an amazing day. Take care. Bye.